into exercise and diet and lifestyle and my little tips and all that sort of thing. Some music news is that a song that I wrote called What Do I Do with a Broken Heart is coming out August 27th. And my friend Sam Mangobat, he actually recorded it and we produced it together. So yeah, that's coming out August 27th. So if you're a Spotify user, you can pre-save it. I'd love for you to do that. Just go to my Instagram story or Sam's and you'll find the pre-save link. Or I think you can just look up What Do I Do with a Broken Heart on Spotify and pre-save it. So under Sam Mangobat, it's Mangubat. So yeah, push-ups are good. Push-ups are very good. All right, so feel free to ask any questions that you have. Oh, here's me actually flexing my abs. So you see that I legitimately know what I'm talking about, I guess, you know? I'm actually way older than I look, but in my opinion, you only are as old as you look, so I think I'm not that old. But it's gonna be my next cover song. Yeah, so I've got a lot of stuff coming out. Also, the next Friday, I think it's September 3rd, I've got a new music video coming out. It's called a song called God of Wine, and the music video is all done. It looks amazing. Shot it in a cemetery next to my house. And yeah, so that's out September 2nd or 3rd. And I have, starting in September, I'm gonna be releasing a brand new song every single month. At least one new song and music video, and like some of the best songs I've ever written by far. Coming out literally every month starting in September. So the first one is the song I wrote for Sam. That's actually out August 27th. And then September onward, a new song every month. So I finally, after all this time, will be releasing new music. It's taken me a long time to record music that I'm really like super excited about. And like, yeah, it's taken me a while to sort of get my artistic vision together. And so I haven't released much music over the last couple of years, but it's together now, and yeah, you're gonna love it. So, and also some Filipino songs. I've got a new cover of Kanlungan that's coming out, and it's really a cool cover. I covered that many years ago, but it's like my favorite probably ever Filipino song, Kanlungan. And so it's the one, Panapanahon ang pagkakataon. That song, so that's coming out. All right, so cool. So diet and exercise. So yeah, so this is my body here. There's the legs. I'm not gonna do like a full just underwear shot because that might be a little too much. But yeah, I've basically had like this same kind of body in some kind of way. Let's see. Since yeah, here's my back. So not bad, right? And so yeah, I've had this kind of shape of my body since I was probably like 16 or so. I've kept the basic idea of it. It's gotten a little better and a little worse during certain times, but it's basically stayed pretty similar. So here are my tips, what I've learned. So first off, I don't really like working out, okay? I don't like working out. So I wanna work out the least amount that I possibly have to, because I personally kind of feel like I love what working out does for me. I like the way that it makes me look, and I like the way that it makes me feel, but I also kind of feel like it's sort of a waste of time in a way, because how do I explain? Like it's like beyond looking good and beyond feeling better, I don't want to just like work out to work out, you know? Like I don't really enjoy that much working out. Like I don't get that much joy from doing some push-ups, you know? So I want to work out the least amount possible. So here's what I suggest as far as working out goes. I never do cardio. Also, I almost never work on my abs. I basically never do any ab exercises at all. So here's what I do. I do basically 4 exercises, okay? I do, and this pretty much gets it all. So I do deadlifts, and not with like the Smith machine, like just deadlifts with a bar, and you know, you do a deadlift. So I do deadlifts. That's my favorite exercise. That's actually the only exercise I kind of enjoy doing. Then I do squats. I hate doing squats, but that's the other exercise I do. That's for my butt. Actually, you know what? Why not? We're doing this. I'll show you my butt here. See, pretty good butt, you know? Not bad, right? It's nice and round. So there you go. Never shown my my bottom on YouTube before, but there we go. Now it's been documented. All right, so I do squats. That's pretty much for my butt. And then I do pull-ups. So pull-ups is just pulling myself up like that. And sometimes I'll do that with weight. So pull-ups gets your arms. I almost never work on my arms, like biceps and stuff like that. I just do pull-ups pretty much. And so that works on your biceps. So pull-ups does your lats here. So get your lats, gives you that V shape, and it does your biceps and it does your back and a little bit of shoulders. Like pull-ups is gonna get all of that stuff right there. And then I do chest press. So that's pretty much it. I mean, every now and again, I'll throw in another exercise just kind of randomly. But that's pretty much all I do. And I do that like I'll throw in a couple other exercises, but I do it basically like once every 3 days. I do like those 4 exercises. That's pretty much my workout routine. And if I go to the gym like any other random time, like I'll throw in just some other random exercises, you know, like some like shoulder stuff or something like that. But it's basically those 4 exercises. And if I'm in like a hotel, like I am today, like there's no, you know, I'm actually in Brazil right now. I'm in Sao Paulo, Brazil. So since I don't have a like gym or whatever, then I will just do basically just 2 exercises. So I'll do push-ups just here in my room, and then I'll do one-legged squats. So I do this right here. So literally just like get like that. And then it's hard to do with the video at the same time. And then, yeah, it's kind of an awkward thing, but I just do one-legged squats like that. Sorry, it's kind of awkward looking with that, but that's the other thing that I do. So, oh, what's up, Josh? Good to see you, man. Cool. Yeah, so, man, I haven't seen you in forever. Like, great to hear from you. Josh and I have been friends for, like, gosh, 15 years or more, 17 years, a long time. Yeah, so I do, when I'm in here, I do push-ups. And usually if I'm doing push-ups, I'll kind of vary them up a little bit. So let me show you the basic push-up, what I do. So yeah, if I'm here, then I'll do just like close push-ups. So that kind of gets your triceps. And then I'll do one that's kind of more regular. And then I'll do one that's far apart. It's not a lot of push-ups. I probably just do about a total of about 100 to like 150 total. And that's my exercise when I'm traveling. Just that and the one-legged squat. So actually when I do one-legged squats, I put my arms over my head because it makes it harder. So, and then I squeeze my stomach. Oh, see, it's hard. It's actually really hard exercise. You have to keep your back straight. So keep your back straight with your head over. You guys should try it. If you're watching this right now and you can stand up somewhere, try it. It's really hard. So arms over your head, back straight. Wow, one-legged squats. All right. Oh, that's it. Okay, cool. So that's my, yeah, gets your head going, especially when you're trying to talk and do a YouTube video at the same time. So that's pretty much what I do. Okay, so diet. And feel free to ask any questions as well, guys. How much time did it take for you to get to your current body? So I don't know how to answer that question because something I've talked about in other videos is that consistency is everything. So it's not about like, you know, the classic story of the tortoise and the hare. The hare is really fast, but he just takes off really fast, but he doesn't actually finish slow, but he finishes the race. And I think that's such a classic story because it's incredibly true. And consistency and slow consistency really beats out just like burning yourself out and going like crazy. So I've been super consistent with going to the gym since I was like 15 or 16 years old. But I don't actually work out that much. I only work out about once every 3 days. When I'm working out my most, it's every other day. So if I'm like really trying to get back, like when I've, you know, gotten more out of shape, a little bit more out of shape, like I wasn't going very regularly, then I want to get like back to kind of where I am now. Then I went to the gym like every other day for about 3 months. And then now I'm back to like where I am now, which is like where I feel happy, which is basically like not too big, but you know, nice and like definitely fit. So yeah, any advice for ectomorphs, hard gainers? So yeah, it's hard for me to give advice. I don't know what I am as far as that ectomorph, endomorph, like all that sort of thing. I don't know. All I can say is that what I've seen work like across the board with all different body types over the years of going to the gym, you know, and working out with different people, is that working on large muscle groups, like back. Your two biggest muscle groups are back and legs. Josh says it's hard to believe you've been that many years. Always been one of my favorite people, always an inspiration in so many ways. Thank you so much, Josh. You're one of my favorite people too, hands down. I know we've never met, but I'm 100% sure if neither of us die in the near future, we're going to meet and it's gonna be great. And I can't wait. I'm gonna give you a big hug. Yeah. Let's hug for at least 30 seconds so that we release some serotonin in our brains. I enjoy that. So yeah, so as far as body types, so your biggest muscle groups are back. See, your back, it's a huge muscle, and legs. And then third is chest, okay? So like this right here. But really back is like upper body, it's all about the back. That's why deadlifts. Oh, thank you so much for the tip there, Pratik. I appreciate it. Awesome of you. So that's why back, doing like, what is it? My favorite exercise, deadlifts. Yeah, deadlifts. So deadlifts, why they're my favorite exercise? Because they work out your back. So a deadlift is where you pick up the weight and you pick it up like that. Okay. So it's working out your legs and your back. So your two biggest muscle groups at the same time. The same thing with squats. It's working out your two biggest muscle groups because it's also you're putting something on your back and you're having to stabilize your back and your abs and everything at the same time as you're doing the squat, right? And your legs. So you're working out the two biggest muscle groups at once. And so what I've found is like, if you want to get the most improvement out of your body, I'm not gay, no, Ramito, Ramito, nope, not gay, definitely not. Never had any experience with a guy, just never, yeah, it's never really been at the top of my priority list. So, yeah, working out your biggest muscle groups, you're gonna get the most like bang for your buck. So no matter what body type that you are, I would really suggest that you focus on back and legs, because the other things like, and then chest like is the last one, right? So the chest is important too. But basically when you do that, so you're working out everything. Like you're even working out your shoulders, right? Because you're doing chest, you're working out your shoulders and you're working out your triceps. So that's why I do chest press, because I don't need to work out my triceps really. I mean, I have triceps, like not amazing, but like, hey, they're not bad, right? But I almost never work out my triceps. Like I work out my chest, but then my chest works out my triceps, you know? So I don't want to have to do lots of exercises. I'd rather do the least amount possible. So yeah, so that's why I pretty much stick to those four. So you're doing the pull-ups, that's working out your shoulders, it's working out your biceps, it's working out your back, it's working out your lats, it's working out your abs as well, because you're kind of stabilizing yourself as you're pulling yourself up. And then the deadlifts is working out your back, again, big muscle group, and your legs. The deadlifts, the squats are working out your legs and your back and your abs, because it's like stabilizing everything. Josh said he'll give me a Texas size hug. Awesome. I go to Texas a lot. Where do you live in Texas, Josh? I go to Austin a lot, and you know what? I'm actually going to be going to Houston, I think in October. Yeah, so let me know if you're in Houston or Austin. Pratik says, David, it must be so easy for you to get girls. You know, I don't know if I think that it's easy for me to get girls. I don't think that it's hard. Like I don't think, but I don't think that it's easy either. Yeah, I don't think that it's easy either. So here's the thing I think about, if I wasn't picky, I think it would be easy, I guess. But I mean, I think everyone should be picky, you know, about the people that we like let into our lives and the people that we get close to, you know? So it's hard for me to meet girls that I really connect with well and that I like just, yeah, it's very rare. Like, it takes me like years, you know, to meet somebody that I think is gorgeous and I love speaking with them. And here's another thing is like, I like, as you know, Pratik, I'm sure, people get more and less beautiful the more you get to know them, you know? And so it's hard for me to find somebody that is like beautiful when I meet them and stays beautiful the more that I get to know them. Or stays, you know what I mean? Like becomes more beautiful the more I get to know them. So I don't think that it's like easy. I don't think it's easy for anybody to find like great connection. But I'm sure it's easier for me than it is for a lot of people. Yes, I will say that. I think I probably have more going for me that leads to it being easier for me than a lot of people, but definitely not easy, I don't think. Yeah. And actually, sometimes I think that being like good looking actually is kind of can be a negative sometimes, because like being fit and things like that, because I think there are a lot of girls that kind of feel insecure with themselves. And so if you're like, if you have too much going on, sort of, you know, then yeah, I'll give you an instance. There's a famous celebrity in the Philippines that I had a huge crush on, right? And I thought we got along really well. Like we hung out a couple times and got along really well. And yeah, but she would never like go on a date with me. And then, you know, not long after that, she married a guy who's not very good looking at all by like any standards. Like he's not not attractive, I don't think, at all. So me being good looking did not make her want to go out with me, you know? And him, I mean, he was like not fit at all. I'm not trying to talk bad about the guy. I mean, you know, I don't really know the guy, but like he was like, he's out of shape, doesn't dress well, like not particularly attractive, not particularly talented or anything like that. Like just like like the most average kind of dude, you know, ever, but or even below average. But you know, this superstar girl, and he wasn't famous or anything like that, but this superstar girl liked him, and you know, and so, and I've had that actually happen a few times. I've had, oh, thank you, Sid, you remind me of Elton John. I love Elton John. Elton John is like one of my favorite artists of all time. He's like probably 2. It's like Prince is number 1, and then Elton John's number 2. So yeah. Also, I think there's that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, you know, kind of thing, to where there are certain people that I meet, and that this lady comes to my mind like a few years ago, and yeah, and she said to me, we ended up becoming really good friends, and she said, when I met you, I thought you were the best looking guy I've ever seen in my life. And I could tell she was actually sincere in saying that. And it was like the biggest compliment ever to me. She's like, you're the most attractive person I've ever met. It's like, wow, that's amazing, you know? But I meet tons of girls, tons, most that do not remotely feel that way at all. So yeah, anyway. But every now and again, one does. And if you're lucky, then you like them too. All right, so let me see if I missed a couple of messages. If I did, message me again. Any other questions, guys? I'm gonna actually head out because I'm gonna go riding. Who said this? He loves Honey Brand muffins at Coffee Bean and bringing his own tea. That's funny. That is somebody who knows me too well. I do like honey bran muffins, a coffee bean, and bringing my own tea. Who said that? That must be somebody I know very well personally, or who has been spying on me. Do you like it in the Philippines? Yeah, I love the Philippines. The Philippines is as much my home as any place in the world. And maybe I feel more home in Manila than I do in any city in the world, actually. I think a lot of it has to do with just the history I've had there um, and my friends there. And yeah, to live, yeah, I do. I like it to live as well. Yeah, so I don't currently live in the Philippines, but I I think there's a good chance I will live in the Philippines again. Choose USA or the Philippines. Well, if I could only live in one ever in my life, I think I'd probably pick the US because there's more opportunity in general. It's just more diverse. It's a larger, like a bigger country. I don't think the one's like better than the other. I just think they're just different. They're like very different environments and things like that. If I only had to pick one though, I think I'd pick the US just because it's bigger and more diverse, really, you know? Um, but I love the Philippines and yeah, equally, I think. So, was a woman who called you the most attractive man she met Filipina? So actually, she was. She was half Filipino. Yeah, she was American, but half Filipino. Um, Born in the U.S. though. But yeah. Michelle said, "Thank you. We love you." Also, David. Oh, thanks, Michelle. Yeah, I love the Philippines. Like, I think in many ways, I feel like more connected to the Philippines than I do the U.S. I think because I have so many friends there, and like, even in the U.S., a lot of my friends are Filipino. You know. Your brain said, "Did your hair density worsen recently?" No, no, my hair density is actually getting better. So I actually just had a recent hair transplant like 2 months ago, and yeah, and my hair's like getting better and better. Do you eat eggs? If yes, how many a day? I do eat eggs, but I don't. Oh, let's talk about diet. Yeah, maybe we'll do another one on diet, but I'll talk a little bit about diet. Um, Yeah, do you eat eggs? If yes, how many a day? Yeah, so I eat eggs, but I don't like count how many eggs that I eat. I don't count how many anything that I eat. So this girl X says, I'm a barista before Makati way back in 2012. Nice to serve you, Sir David. You just popped out on my YouTube. That's funny. Yeah, so I used to go to Coffee Bean and Makati all the time. Um, so yeah, good to hear from you. Good to see you virtually. Wow, you have a really good memory. That makes me kind of feel flattered that I'm memorable enough to you that you remember what I ate at Coffee Bean in 2012. Does hair transplant work? Yeah, hair transplant totally works. Yeah, you need to get an incredible surgeon, but because it's surgery, it's like it's real surgery, you know? So it's very important. You know, surgeons want, I think it's the number two cause of death in the United States is actually surgeons or like doctors messing up, like doctors prescribing wrong medications or misoperating and things. It's literally the number two, I'm pretty sure you can look this up, number two cause of death is doctor malpractice, basically. So doctors are very, very human. Doctors have bad days, and doctors stay out too late at night and go drinking and do drugs and, you know, before surgery and are depressed because they divorced their wife and like they're people, you know? And so doctors mess up a lot, just like how people mess up a lot, you know, just how people get in car crashes every day. So but unfortunately, doctors are making life and death decisions for people and doing surgeries and things like that. So it's really important that you get an incredible surgeon because a hair transplant surgery is real surgery, and people have died during hair transplant surgeries. People have died from lidocaine poisoning, which is the numbing fluid and things like that. It's very rare, but it does happen. And it's even more common that people just don't do a good job or don't look after their patients. So you gotta get a great surgeon. But then hair transplant is like an incredible life changing thing if you do that and you have the right plan. All right, so what age are you currently at? I'm not gonna answer that, but how old do most people estimate you are? I think most people, I don't know, you tell me how old you think I am, like looking at me. But usually I get like 29, something like that. That's usually about the age that I get. It's like late 20s, early 30s, kind of. I don't know. I don't really ask people a lot. You're 25? Okay, so I got 25 and 36. Awesome. And then 28 to 30, the Batman says. Great. So basically every age between 25 and 36. I'll take it. Well, I'm not older than 36. That's for sure. And yeah, but I'll take 25. Pratik, I like you of all the people watching today. No offense to the rest of you guys, but you tipped me and you said that I look like I'm 25. So let's be friends. Let's be best friends forever. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, diet. Let's talk about diet for just a second, and then I'll do another one about diet sometime, because diet is something that I think about a lot. Okay, so my diet kind of philosophy is similar to my workout philosophy, which is like with working out, I want to get the most results by doing with diet, I want to enjoy myself the most while also not hurting myself, or like while also treating, right? So I've never done a diet ever in my life, like a diet thing, like keto diet or like this diet or that diet. I've never done anything like that. My basic diet comes down to I try to eat mostly vegetarian, mostly. I'm not like a strict vegetarian, but I very rarely go out of my way to eat meat or order meat. Very rarely. I usually, if there's a vegetarian option on the menu, unless it's like some super famous thing. Okay, so last night I'm in Brazil, right? So Brazil is very famous for steakhouses. So I said, okay, while I'm here, I'm gonna go to one Brazilian steakhouse and have a Brazilian like steak, like a great steakhouse, and try this because it's like a famous thing here in Brazil. So I wanted to try that. But the rest of the time that I'm here, I'm just gonna eat the vegetarian dishes. Because like I've tried the famous thing and I'd rather just eat vegetarian because I feel better. I think it's better for the environment. It's better for the animals. They don't like to die. So the rest of the time I'm gonna eat vegetarian. And then the other thing that I do, so I never eat pork. I never eat any like shellfish. Yeah, so it's basically like vegetarian and occasionally steak and chicken. And then really the only other thing is that I try not to eat much fried food. So though I occasionally do, again, I don't limit anything that I really do. I just try to like always err on the side of the better stuff, you know? So yeah, that's pretty much it. And then the other thing that I do is I love desserts and sweets. Like I love desserts and sweets, okay? So I don't keep them at my house except for dark chocolate. I only keep dark chocolate at my house. All other desserts and sweets, I only get if I eat outside of my house. So that way when I'm home, I won't like binge on ice cream because I love ice cream. Or I won't binge on like cheesecake and things like that because otherwise I'll just like buy a cheesecake and eat the whole cheesecake. So I only order desserts when I'm out because it like keeps it away from me, but then I let myself eat desserts, but only when I'm, you know, out doing something, right? So anyways, that's kind of what I do. That's actually the basics of my diet. Maybe you have a fast metabolism. You know, maybe, I don't think my metabolism is bad. Oh, okay, so here's actually the biggest thing. This is a great, the Batman, thank you for reminding me of this. This is the biggest thing that I do that I think really helps like my diet and the way that I look, okay? I basically don't drink alcohol. So again, every now and again I do, but I have like less than 5 drinks per year. Like I've only had, this year, I've had drinks so far. I had my friend knocked on my door and gave me a pina colada. And then I'm down here in Brazil, and so there's this famous drink in Brazil, and it's delicious. And it's not something I'll ever have anywhere else. It's called a caipirinha, I think is what they call it. And so I had one of those last night, and I had one of those the night before. Caipirinha, or something like that. It's like this very famous Brazilian drink, and it's delicious, and has like passion fruit and stuff in it. So, but basically I don't drink. And I don't drink any sodas. Yeah. And I don't drink any sodas. So basically I drink water and sparkling water. I love sparkling water and green tea. So like over here, see, I've got a little tea thing. I asked them to bring this to my room, and I got tea here. And so green tea is really good for your metabolism. So yeah, green tea is great for your metabolism. And yeah, some English breakfast tea. So I just like drink green tea in the morning, you know, and that's really good for you. And I don't, sometimes I'll put honey in it, but you know, that's not, honey's natural. I just try and get like raw organic honey, and it's pretty good for you. And thank you, again, I just got another tip there from Pratik. Yeah, thank you so much. Tell us about your visit to Brazil. Okay, cool, I will. Yeah, so that's so drinking. I think that drinking is the number one thing that like screws up people's diets that they don't realize. Is like even juices like full of sugar, right? So if you just only drink water and green tea, it will completely change your diet, completely. So that would be my biggest suggestion, honestly, to anyone that's like wanting to make a big change. It's really easy to do, in my opinion. I think just drink water and green tea, and then you can actually eat a lot more stuff. So my trip to Brazil. So one of my friends invited me to Brazil. I've had like 4 friends invite me to Brazil over the last year, and I kept on saying no. And then finally this one invited me, and I was like, okay, I've had all these friends invite me to Brazil, so I'm gonna go to Brazil because it seems like it's calling me. So, so yeah, that's really it. So I'm down here for 10 days, and he's actually a YouTuber, and we're gonna do some YouTube videos while we're here together. I interviewed him for my YouTube channel it's actually my hair loss hope. It's my hair YouTube channel. I interviewed him for that, and he's got a YouTube channel about hair loss as well. And so we're gonna do a couple videos together, and got a couple other business things. I'm meeting this musician, keyboard player that I often collaborate with down here in Sao Paulo, and then I'm gonna go to Floripa. So yeah, just doing some business stuff down here as well. And it's beautiful. I love it. I love Brazil. I think, especially right now, if you're American coming to Brazil, it's incredible because the exchange rate is like kind of at an all-time high. So everything is insanely cheap here, like insane. Like I think it's cheaper than the Philippines right now for Americans. I really think that it is for like what you get. Like a filet mignon, you know, at a steakhouse is like $10. It's like it's gonna be way more than that even in the Philippines. So like the food right here, the taxis are insanely cheap. I think the taxis are about the same as the Philippines. Like for me to go somewhere in a taxi, it's like 15 minutes away, is gonna cost me like $3, $2 to $3. It's like crazy right now how cheap it is. So anyway, all right guys, well that's it. I'm gonna hop off, been on for like 30 minutes. I'm gonna go take a cold shower and do some breathing exercises, and then get on with my day and some bike riding in Brazil. So I hope this was helpful. It was great talking to all of you, and yeah, thanks for the tips, and good to see some old faces, people that I haven't talked to in a while. I'll see you later, guys. Lots of love.